1. Start.
Hello, my name's Nigel Jenkins, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to do this address to conference. We've been asked to talk about reuse and recycling crushed concrete with some specific examples of KD's experience and practice in the nuclear sector. We just have a few slides for you today, mostly with pictures you'll be glad to hear. What we're going to talk about after a brief introduction is a little bit about KDC, how we see the drivers for recycling and reuse, and how KDC respond to those drivers. We'll then move on to talk specifically about some challenges in the nuclear industry, the typical decommissioning cycle that we see, some of our practical experiences, and then there'll be an opportunity for some concluding comments. Firstly, introductions. My colleague John Bloodworth, who sadly can't be here today, he's working on some work for Magnox. John is director of our nuclear business. I won't go through all of this detail, but he's got an awful lot of experience in the nuclear industry and latterly in decommissioning, demolition and remediation nuclear industry. Why can we contribute to today's conference? Well, we've got a long track record and pedigree within the nuclear industry. We're one of the leading decommissioning companies. We also have experience from other related sectors such as energy and utilities, onshore oil, gas and process. So we've got some real experience and we've got some real solutions. If you want to contact us afterwards, there's John's email address and there's our website address. So a little bit about KDC. What are we? We're a leading decommissioning, deplanting, demolition and land remediation company. We provide all those services to the nuclear, chemical, petrochemical, pharmaceutical, energy and utilities and local authorities. We've got a lot of experience in regulated environments and therefore understand the legal requirements. We now employ about 150 people. We're a growing company and we have our own in-house personnel for decommissioning, deplanting and asbestos removal. Some of our customers, I won't read the list out, they are big names, I'm sure you're aware of them, and all of those clients come to KDC when they're looking at their end of asset life problems. Time for some pictures now because words on slides that we feel can be a little bit dull sometimes. So KDC put another way is lots of exotic travel. We go to wonderful locations such as Salford and Dounreay. We have large Tonka toys, so those of you with children who enjoy playing with their Tonka toys, you can imagine that these even bigger ones are much more fun to play around with. We have work on large sites and unusual sites. This is work up at Salford we were doing. And of course, we have lots of recyclable aggregate. This is a picture of some work we were doing up at Wilton on Teesside, where the vast majority of aggregate was decontaminated and recycled and reused. So, on to the third point of this short presentation, drivers for recycling and reuse. First of all, it starts with us, KDC. We have a very strong CSR commitment, but of course we also comply with environmental policy and the waste hierarchy, which you're all familiar with. We do everything we can to prevent, to reuse or recycle. Obviously this hierarchy diagram transcends many industries, but we're focusing on reuse and recycling. And of course, the Environmental Protection Act provides the main controls for waste management. You're probably familiar with that, but if you need more information afterwards, we can provide that. Moving on, our response to these drivers in the nuclear sector, the waste hierarchy is very important, and that drives us to our segregation policy when we're thinking of disposing of an asset. That segregation policy is in turn driven by the waste routes we're able to work to. By waste routes, we're meaning can we recycle to a local smelter some of the steel? Can we recycle some of the aggregate, perhaps in road use? Or is contaminated and hazardous waste landfill the only solution? Specifically, the challenges in the nuclear industry we see are radiological. First of all, we have to characterize what is there, what do we have and where is it? Once we've done that, we move on to the less toxic elements of the hazard, asbestos and other chemotoxic items. Our waste management plan is really our driver for the decommissioning methodology. So we gear our demolition solution design around the waste segregation and reuse, recycle, disposal routes. So we try and picture the end game, maximize the reuse and recycle and minimize the disposal route, and then gear our solution design around the waste segregation and the waste management plan. Of course, there is an issue here. Environmentally, the solution may be very sound, but it may not be as safe as we would like it to be. So our overarching aim through our demolition solution design is to eliminate any health risk. And then that obviously might have an impact on how we go about segregating waste, and it may even increase some of the waste we have to dispose of. Our 6th point here, typical decommissioning cycle. So we are processing waste all the time, starting with radiological, then asbestos. Then we'll strip out any of the non-contaminated softer elements. Then we demolish the building, and then finally we'll remediate the land. Just some practical experiences, a few more photographs here. This series of photographs is all from RSRL down at Harlow. This is a building characterization survey. One of our guys there doing a little bit of local characterization, trying to find out what the hazards are. Secondly, this is some sampling being done. Obviously, this guy's all suited up with breathing apparatus. This area had some contaminated cells, you can see, and we're trying to understand what's in those cells to decide how we go about demolishing the building in the most efficient and safe way. Here we have a team immobilizing what we found, and we immobilized this contamination in storage tubes. This enabled us to then go on and once we've isolated that contamination, to then dismantle the building and demolish it. Again, this is a picture of those storage tubes. We designed a special little cap here to help with the immobilization. And then towards the end of demolition, so you can still see the slab with the immobilized contaminates, but once we'd done that, we were able to quickly and efficiently and safely demolish most of the building. And then just a quick photograph here of some targeted decontamination. So some of our projects, we really have to get in and screen off the area and suit the teams up to decontaminate. But doing this allows us then to maximize the amount of recycled aggregate from our projects and recycled steels and non-ferrous metals. This picture here is showing the benefits of doing all that, because this is a very quick and efficient method of demolishing and being able to reuse or recycle as much of the material as possible. And as you can see, minimum manual intervention through the use of these high-reach machines, which are dancing in tandem, as you can see. Just wanted to tell you what our customers think. Richard Smith, who's the Global Demolition Director of Dow, said that what the work KDC does is safe, and superlative performance comes from KDC, so we're particularly proud of that. So some concluding comments. What does all that mean? It means that KDC delivers greater than 97% recycling levels across all projects. We do this in the non-nuclear sector. We recently completed a project at Wrexham. This was a very, very contaminated building full of asbestos. But because our solution design and our decontamination strategy was made with the end game in sight, we were able to recycle 98% of the materials from that site, and the majority of concrete was recycled into a local road building project. So from a CSR perspective, we minimised transportation and we maximised recycling. And again, just to reiterate, what does all that mean? Well, solution design is critical to ensure safety and maximise environmental benefits. So that's a very brief run through of KDC's capability, and I hope it was of interest to you. I'd like to thank you, and we'll leave you with any questions you may have.